I passed the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, and here are the tips and resources to make you successful on this exam as well. Let's go. Welcome everybody to another episode of My Day, My Money Tech. Today we'll be getting into the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam and some of the tips and resources that I have for you to possibly be successful in taking this exam. So today we're going to get into what is the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, what are the tips and resources that I have, and the reason that I went for the certification. So, what is the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam? The AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam basically gives you a high-level overview of what the AWS cloud is. The reason I chose AWS is because they're a leading provider in the cloud industry. So right now, if you go and look up who's the number one cloud provider on the internet, you'll see AWS will come up as number one. So that's why I kind of wanted to go with AWS to cert before. I have used Azure in the past, but I wanted to get a feel for AWS because it's always talked about in the news in the tech industry. AWS is a leading provider of the cloud resources. And I also wanted to take this certification because I do have knowledge gaps in the cloud. So I wanted to go in and basically clear up knowledge gaps that I have, but also learn more about the cloud. Also see where that knowledge was at in terms of what I was able to accomplish and learn through this resources that AWS provided, and then what I needed to do to pass this certification exam. So like I said, this AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner is not really a cybersecurity certification. It's more so just an entry level, just doesn't really, I wouldn't say it'll land you a job, but it just kind of lets people know that you have a high level understanding of the AWS cloud. So basic entry level certification. It's foundational, as AWS mentions here. And then in terms of what it is, you can actually go to AWS's page here. So we'll go there right now. So if you just Google AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, it should bring you to this homepage. You might have to Google around for it, but this breaks down basically what it is. So as you can see there, categories foundational, how long the exam takes, 90 minutes. The exam format is 65 questions, so it's multiple choice question. There aren't any performance-based questions like you'll see in the Security Plus. So the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam is strictly multiple choice and multiple response. So it's either a single choice, so you have pick the best two out of four possible answers for the question. The cost is $100. So at the time I took this exam in December, there's actually a deal going on by AWS. They had like a 25% off, so it brought that $100 down to $75, and then included they have all free resources on AWS. So other than the free resource that AWS provides for people taking this exam, I did purchase a Udemy course which costs $25. So that course plus this cost of the exam at the discounted rate came out to $100. So I basically paid for the exam in full at a discounted price because of the training that I added on extra from Udemy. So to be honest with this exam, I would only recommend two resources. The Udemy course that I was able to find via other YouTubers. I think Ben Chong was one of the YouTubers that helped me find this list. It's a popular Udemy course that's happening on or a popular Udemy course that covers AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, and it's the most recent up-to-date exam. So if you don't know, the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam recently got updated last year of 2023. It got updated to CLF 02, I believe. But yeah, this exam was, I would say, on a scale of 10, I'd rate it like a 7 to 7.5 in terms of difficulty. As long as you put in the work in terms of studying, you should be able to pass this exam pretty easily. Everyone's different, but that was just my take on it. I believe the Security Plus was a little bit harder just because there's more domains to cover. This exam is focused and geared towards AWS in of itself. There's no other vendors obviously that will appear in this exam because it's AWS vendor specific exam. So as you can see here, you can test online or in person. I obviously chose in person just because I don't want to take the fear of having to fail the exam just because of noise, something that happens in the background, and the proctor fails me on the exam. So I usually like to go on to an in-person testing center, and those usually are administered by Pearson VUE, as you can see here. And then there's different languages you can take the exam in. But yeah, my tips and resources, obviously, first one would be whenever you take a certification, whether it's cybersecurity or just an AWS certification, always go to the area where it talks about the exam. So here you say prepare for the exam. So if you click on that, it'll bring you to this other webpage. I already clicked on it, and then it'll bring you to this exam guide. That's one of the number one things you want to do, is go check out the exam guide, because you want to know what's actually in the exam that you're taking. And it's usually one of the first things that I do, and it's recommended by everyone. Obviously, you want to see what the exam's going to talk about. So go check that out. But I really like how AWS really lays out step 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't go through all of these steps in order to pass the exam, but these are all free resources. There are some premium versions, I believe, with their practice test. You can take one free practice test, and then if you want to take more practice tests, you have to pay for extra. But like I said, the free 99 is the best way to go, man. So check out all of the resources. Very useful. For me, I usually just use this exam guide. I just kind of went through it. Obviously, read through it. It's a couple of pages, but it breaks down what the exam is going to be about. They have exam prep here. Didn't go through that. I did go through this, AWS Cloud Practioner Essentials. So this is basically just AWS's training online. So it's basically a video course that goes through AWS. I really liked how AWS was able to break down their resources that they provide. That's a big thing, is the cloud has all these resources. It's IT on-demand resources that are available for users or clients whenever they want it. So it's on demand. That's the best thing about the cloud. That's why I wanted to get into this and learn more about AWS Cloud, because of all the things I always hear about AWS. So just go through this whole AWS Cloud Practioner. I just want to click on it to show you. But yeah, it's just like a self-paced learning, so you go at your own pace. I would say, if you can, everyone's schedules are different, but this exam is very doable within a month to 2 months. So in terms of preparation, in terms of scheduling it, I feel like I was less stressed about this exam than I was with the Security Plus. Then again, Security Plus I felt like had more domains, and this one was more of a high level, touching on the different resources that AWS provides for its clients, right? So go through that. They do have a 3-day, 3-hour meeting, or course that they provide, where it's kind of like a Zoom, live in-person training. I did enjoy it. I don't feel, for me at least, the Cloud Practioner Essentials was that same training, but it was more I can go at my own pace. I don't have to worry about taking notes or missing something that a live instructor said. So just take it whatever way you prefer learning. I would just go about choosing whether you want the live in training or just go self-paced. For me, self-paced was the best, because I was able just to kind of skim through things I already knew, rather than having it retaught to me. And then things I didn't know, I could slowly go through, pause the video. Whereas in a live training, sometimes if you miss it just because the instructor's trying to get through the course material so that they can make sure everything was touched on. Whereas in self-paced, you take your own time. So that was the biggest help. I didn't do the practice exams though through AWS. So this is the next resource. Like I said, there's only 2 big resources. First is all of AWS's free stuff. Take which ones you want, leave the ones you don't want to go through. I know that their step 2 here, this Cloud Practioner Cloud Quest, it's kind of like a gamified way of learning the AWS cloud, but I think you do get a discount. There's some discount that you are provided, at least from what I remember, and just off the top of my head. AWS Cloud Quest is like a gamified way of learning the AWS cloud. So I did do some of it, but I didn't go through the whole thing, so I didn't want to really put that up as a resource that I used. But yeah, like I said, the second resource was this Udemy course by Muhammad Ali, I believe. That's who was the training by. Yeah, created by Muhammad Ali. So obviously you can see there's 120, almost 130,000 students have used this Udemy course, and it's kept up to date. There's 6 practice exams you can take. So I like this comment right here that was mentioned. Not one question came up on the exam, so it's not really like a brain dump, but they are very similar to what you'll see on AWS. So it's very similar to the formatting. Again, 65 questions. I believe I only did, let's see, go to my learning. I didn't do the full course on here, just because of time wise. Let's see here. Yeah, so I did 4 out of the 6 practice exams. The reason why is I think after practice exam 3, I failed these 2. I think practice exam 3, we can actually take a look. Let's see. Yeah, so like practice 3, I failed as well actually. It was 4 I think I passed. Yeah, so once I passed here, I was pretty confident at that point. Again, you could take other 2, but the reason why is I was also in a time crunch. So one thing to note with the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, you can only reschedule twice. After you do that, I think you might have to cancel and then reschedule again. But then again, it was just too complicated. I was like, oh, because I rescheduled twice. I didn't feel ready after I took this exam, so I rescheduled, like pushed it back a week, and then failed this one, pushed it back a week, and then when I finally passed this practice exam, that's when I was like, okay, I'll take it. But I was gonna reschedule again, and then they're like, no, you can only reschedule twice. So that's one thing to note. The difference between this and the CompuTIA Security Plus certification, because with the CompuTIA Security Plus certification, at least in my experience, you can reschedule as many times as you want. So that's the great thing about that. Once you're comfortable, just go take it. But then again, with AWS, the good thing is like because you can only reschedule twice, at one point you just got to take the exam, whether you feel prepared or not, or underprepared or overprepared. At one point you just got to go in and just give it a go, because if you don't give it a go, you're never gonna really know if you're able to pass it or not. So I forgot to add this while editing the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam video, but if you do pass the exam, they actually give you a discount. I think it's like half off, so I'll check that and put it right here. But yeah, I just wanted to add that to this video just to make sure that like once you do pass, there's some added incentive for taking another AWS cloud exam. So just a heads up, let you guys know. Just wanted to add this to the video. But yeah, good luck on your exams. Yeah, these are just kind of tips and resources I wanted to share with you guys today on my channel on Made My Money Tech. Again, the reason for me taking this AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, wanted to get a basic understanding of the cloud and go to the best vendor in the cloud right now, which is AWS, right? So I chose AWS because they're the #1 cloud provider at the time. I've worked in Azure before, but never had like a certification for it. So I did want to get into AWS. The goals on moving forward probably to get more involved in the AWS cloud. So building out cybersecurity labs, and then possibly moving on to their other certifications that they provide. So they do have different paths, and I'll put it up here, just a little diagram of some of the paths that they have. But the goal is probably later on. I don't want to rush right now. I kind of want to learn more about AWS Cloud just on my own, get hands-on knowledge, build out labs, because I feel like that will give me better knowledge for the other certifications that they have. But they do have a AWS security certification. It's more of a specialty, and then before that they have other associate level ones. So I think I either want to go for the developer or the solutions architect. I believe that's what it's called. But there's different paths, like I said, and then there's specialty paths. So maybe one of the associate level certifications, and then finish off with like a specialty. But I kind of want to, with the AWS certifications, I want to build that knowledge. So building it on hands-on, because with their certifications, it's multiple choice. So like, yeah, you can obviously go and learn all this information just from books, but getting hands-on experience will kind of lock that in. It's kind of like learning Linux. Like I learned Linux through books and stuff at the same time, but for me, really getting on hands-on with the command line really locked in all the things that I was learning about Linux. Because like theory base is great, but at the same time, you want to be hands-on keyboard, like everyone always says, and just get that practical knowledge. So yeah, that's it for today. If I left any resources out, please comment down below, which for those who have taken this test, or those who are preparing to taking this test, or those who are planning in the future to probably take this exam. Like I said, I wouldn't being open with this one. I would say maybe because I've taken a certification before, I didn't feel that this one was as difficult as the CompTIA Security Plus. The pressure, like I said, wasn't as high. I feel like maybe because AWS, it's an entry-level exam, so like I love how AWS kind of like, it's not that they set the bar low, but like 70% is pretty, as long as you put in the work, it's pretty easy to accomplish. Like I said, 65 questions, you have 90 minutes. I believe I took the whole 90 minutes. I think I finished with like 10 10 to 15 minutes because I didn't want to keep second guessing myself. I kept going through the exam, but like I said, you don't want to go and second guess answers. So I kind of just flagged questions that I didn't know and then went back and made sure I answered it to the best of my abilities. But yeah, that's all I have today for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. Hopefully this is helpful, some tips and resources to help you to be successful. But like I said, I'll have other certifications that I'm working on currently, and I'll roll out with those videos. But yeah, thanks for tuning into this episode on Mali Money Tech. If you really like this content, like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll just continue to grow 2024. A lot of certifications coming up that I have planned for this year. So let me know what you guys' thoughts are, any improvements, things that you guys have questions about, leave them in the comments below. But I appreciate you guys. Like I say, aim high and achieve. Ovato.